Welcome to a new episode of the PowerTv show, the series that offers you little clues for huge transformations. This is Silvia Camerini from Pregnancies.com, and I am your proud hostess. As you know, I created this series with the intent to empower you as mother woman 360 degrees on many levels. And today we are going to speak on a very dear topic to my heart, that is breastfeeding. I will discuss it with a special guest who is a multifaceted woman. She's a mother and a wife. She's a painter, she's a healer, a business mentor, a web show hostess, and much, much more. She's Aztec by birth, and she comes from a long lineage of Toltec women, female healers, and actually many of them denied their own divine feminine power for many reasons, because of fear, because of shame, because of modernity. This is the reason why my guest lacked a model to show her how to embrace extraordinary. So she embraced ordinary. After a life of traveling the world business class, being promoted the highest levels of the corporate world, and receiving many praises for her work, her heart and soul can't breathe any more emptiness. So she leaves that dimension and she embarks in a spiritual journey that she finds out to be completely centered in motherhood. When she becomes a mother, she deeply understands of how our early programming on self-worth is directly linked with how we relate to money and love. And this brings her straight away to her mission. Stop the chain of fear and pain inherited generation after generation by connecting women to their own true power, that is love. So she creates parentingthegods.com. That is a movement and a global community of parents committed to educate and transform themselves for their children and for the future of humanity. So today I'm really honored to talk about breastfeeding with Blanca Vergara.
Hello, Silvia. Great to be here. I'm so honored. Thank you very much for having me.
I am very happy, and especially because we are talking about this topic, that it is so powerful and magic at the same time. Before we dive into this special topic, I'd like to ask you, who are the gods and what does it mean to parent them?
Yeah. You know, I was inspired to come up with that name through breastfeeding. I was breastfeeding my daughter and I found her divine. And I said, my son is also divine. What is divine? Love. All children are divine. But how can you be with these gods, with this pure representation of divine? How can you do that? Well, you have to parent them in some way. That's how the name was born, parenting the gods. And parenting is inspired by the concept that doctors practice medicine. No doctor knows how to heal. They are always practicing medicine. They are always learning. So inspired by the doctors who are always learning, parents and educators of parents are always learning. So that's the reason why it's parenting. Is never-ending learning on how to honor this potential that the children have. and is to honor them. You know, the way I see it is like a garden. One of your children might be a water lily, and the other child might be like a cactus, and you should know when to put water and when to put sunshine. So when to keep your mouth shut, when to give a hug, because every single one of them is different. So you have to honor their nature and their difference, because those differences is what make them perfect. So that's parenting the gods.
Great. So seems like we are the gardeners and we need to know a lot about our beautiful flowers.
Yeah, and being the gardener is a lot of responsibility, because we are the ones bringing the water, maybe planting them in this side of the garden, moving them to this other side of the garden, taking the weeds away, or allowing to be some weeds, because that will empower them to grow and be who they are. But knowing that all the processes of photosynthesis, all the processes of being themselves, is a process that they have to do themselves, and they are powerful enough. So it implies giving them credit for how wonderful, powerful, intelligent, capable they are.
Yes, that's beautiful. I like it. Let's dive now into today's topic. Let's talk about breastfeeding. So I was intrigued while I was reading your bio, actually, by the thing that you come from a long lineage of Toltec female healers. But you said also that many of them denied their power. So which is the breastfeeding background you come from? What happened to your mother, and then what happened to you when you had your children?
My mother was a potent healer, but I think until today she doesn't even realize. She lost both her parents by the time she became a mother for the first time with my sister. So when she was in this world of giving breastfeeding for the first time to her daughter, she didn't have any support to help her to learn how to place the baby in the right position, communicate with your baby. Everything was good intention, everything was intuition, and everything was her own resources. So she was able to breastfeed my sister for a little while, you know. She doesn't even remember when she tells this story, if it was 1 week or if it was 3 months, but it was very little. And at some point, she just didn't have milk. And she literally went out of the house crying with the child in her arms, really crying in the street. My girl is dying. My girl is going to die. My girl is going to die. Help me, help me. So desperate she was, my mother. And I so can connect with her, because there's so many women out there that are desperate because of what is happening with their breastfeeding experience, and they don't even know how to get out there and ask for help. That's something that I honor my mother. She went out and asked for help, and a woman appeared. It's really like then the divine appeared, and she held her and what's going on? I don't have milk anymore. Come. She took her to the pharmacy. She showed her what the powder milk was. She helped her to open the can, and finally she stopped crying. and she was able to feed my daughter, my sister. So this story was told to me before I was a mother, and I thought, what silly of my mother. How is it possible that you are so weak, even, you know? I was very judgmental as a daughter, and I really didn't understand her. And again, this is something that we all women do. We don't understand the pain of our mother. We just disconnect, and we think ourselves so smart that it's not going to happen to us. And did it happen to me? Well, I didn't really go out and cry, but yes, with my son, with my firstborn, at some point the child needed more milk than I had, and that, you know, instead of going out and look for help, which was, you know, the equivalent of going to the internet and ask the question, my child is hungrier than I have milk, I just decided, well, I'm going to just give him some formula, and a little bit of formula and a little bit of breast, and then he'll be okay. Well, I tell you that all the science says that that is the perfect way to stop the breastfeeding abundance. Because the moment you introduce formula, your body stops perceiving the demand from the child, and then the formula will win in the combination. So, as silly as I thought the story of my mother was, I did it as well. 40 years later, with all the education that I had, with all the ability to read many languages, with the internet, I made the same mistake. And that's something that that's, for me, one of the first lessons of breastfeeding. The connection with my own mother and the compassion that that gives me. Because we perceive that we are alone, and we perceive that we have nobody to help us. But we do have. It's a matter of going out of our comfort zone, whatever it is, going out of our house or going out in the internet world, to listen to other stories, that we are not alone. And there are many ways that we can get the level of breastfeeding that we would like to have. So that was lesson number one. Then I had my second daughter. Oh, sorry, my second child, my daughter, and everything was perfect. Breastfeeding was like a train, and then when she was 2 months old, she got a really bad virus that was a respiratory virus, very similar to the RS virus. So at that age, can be really dangerous. For my daughter, that was really dangerous. She was, well, on the brink of dying, almost, but she was very seriously ill. And she was in the hospital for a bit less than 2 weeks. And during this time, basically, we stopped breastfeeding. And it's very difficult to restart the production of breastfeeding after you have stopped for 2 weeks. But this time, I was adamant. I was adamant. I said, it's not going to happen the same that it happened with my son. I really believe in my child, in my body, and I really believe in divine. If I want to do breastfeeding, it will happen. This is the most challenging thing I ever done in my entire life. But I just put my child to my breast. And that was like 24/7 for a month. I put her to one breast, and she would cry, so I put it to the other breast. And it felt empty, but I still will put her. And it's just magical. I mean, this just opened so many doors. There were times in which I had her, I just made that change, and she was crying. And I said, well, I think I don't have milk anymore. She tried both breasts, and I don't have milk anymore. And then I had two options: get desperate and let's try for a bottle, or let's try the first breast for the second time, or for the third or fifth time. And then I did try again, and there was milk. Doctors call relactation, but this is the process that I like to call connection to divine and infinite abundance. This just teaches us that we are protected. It was so exhilarating to see that my breast, that it appeared just so empty, had milk for my daughter. I was able to do the relactation. We were able to continue breastfeeding almost to her second birthday. And I just had so much milk that even when the last periods, the last occasions when I needed to breastfeed her, I had to put a cloth in the other breast of all the milk that I continue producing. And this is, for me, this is just pure connection to divine, because how can you explain this? How wonderfully created is the human body, or the body of a mother, to feed another human being and allow him to grow from a tiny little newborn to a child who's running around with milk. Is just terrific. The Chinese call it the white blood, and it is like that. It is life, food coming out of your own body. So it is impossible to be substituted with any chemical, because as well-intentioned that are all these pharmaceutical companies, that I really believe that they do have good intentions to help us, it is dead. It doesn't have human cells. And in these human cells goes DNA. Your DNA, the DNA of your ancestors, all your ancestry goes through the milk. And I'm not talking about the spiritual part of that. This is pure science. Is really life food for your child. It's impossible to be substituted with other food. So it's this is more or less my journey. I guess I forgot many other details. Maybe you want me to go into more detail in a part. But it was really a journey from my mother not having milk to my daughter receiving this huge abundance of it. And I think that it's like a healing process, intergenerational healing process of connecting with our love. So that's the way I see breastfeeding.
And Blanca, which is your secret, your golden tip to share with our audience to accept the uniqueness of your story and to learn to forgive yourself or your mother what happened before you? Is there a little secret that you want to share with the other women?
Observe your children. Observe your children in whatever stage they are. You are going to see pure love and what is the desire of pure life. Have you noticed just look at this age around 1 year old when they are trying to walk and they try again and they try again and they try again, and there is no one single child that says, no, I tried already enough times, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy of walking. There is no one single child who does that. Be inspired by that relentless desire to live, to create life. And when you connect with the desire of walking, of eating, of growing, then you will connect with the essence of life. And with that, it's just so easy to say, There is even nothing to forgive my mother. There is nothing to forgive myself. Anything and everything that happened before is what brought me to this very moment, and it's just absolutely perfect. And feel love and compassion for every single second, for everything that happened to your mother, to your grandmother, to the great-grandmother, to your sisters, because of course other women are around, and to your friends. And because of course I'm telling you the story of it worked to do breastfeeding for me, but many of the women that I work with don't have that luck. And the biggest trouble is not that they did not breastfeed. The biggest trouble is that they feel guilty for that. And then they are feeding this powdered milk with guilt to the child. And that is really what is wrong with that milk, not the chemistry of it. So how can we get rid of that guilt is by showering everything with love, showering yourself with love, showering the milk with love, your child with love. A very good source is, as I said, observe your child. And if you can, just the very old way of doing it, very famous way of doing it, is concentrating white light, pure white light to yourself, to the milk, to your child. And I'm just feeling it right now, pure white light to all the women who have any drop of guilt in what has happened with the breastfeeding. Because when you connect with that pure light, that love, even the worst of those chemical powder milks will be wonderful food for your children. And I can tell you, that is the milk that saved the life of my daughter. So I don't have any prejudice about it. It's not wrong. The guilt is the wrong part. Don't even think about forgiving yourself. Just love yourself and let it go.
I like when you say to observe your child, your children. I think that is the strength of life. Children, I think they hold this strength. They just want to go, towards their mission, their goal. They don't care about failure. They just want to try and try and try again. And this is a great example. Then when we are mothers, I think we got under our eyes every day, and we should start to pay more and more attention to them, to our precious children. I'm very interested as well about the connection, the telepathy that you are mentioning when you talk about breastfeeding, that special link and connection that happens between the mother and the baby and the divine, the universe. I'd love to know a bit more about this. Can we receive intuitive guidance as well while we are breastfeeding? Did it happen to you?
Yes. Dear topic of mine. For the fellow women who are interested in science, go and research the Heart Lab and what Joseph Chilton Pearce say about it. Maybe I will give you the URL so that people find these two resources. But I mentioned these two sources to tell you that it's proven scientifically that the heart has a huge magnetic field. And if you have your child, another human being with a heart, with a huge magnetic field close to you, just in such a close proximity, the connection of the two magnetic fields is ensured, and it becomes to be harmonized with each other. they start really vibrating in the same way, both. And they start expanding each other, like multiplying the vibration. And of course, because you are hugging your child, you are in the vibration of love, of the possibilities of course, if you let it, huh? Because if you are breastfeeding and you are cooking, that doesn't work. But if you're breastfeeding and you are lying down, even if you're in public, because I have breastfed a lot in public, if you breastfeed but you're concentrated with your child, really close your eyes and connect with your child, you can get in that field of love, field of possibilities, field of very high vibration. And with that, you connect with, of course, with your child, but first with your environment. Everybody gets benefit of that vibration of love, and you connect with the field, that part of the universe that knows it all. That is what our physicists are telling us these days. And that is what I like to call the divine. You really connect with divine when you are breastfeeding. As I mentioned before, this food is real food. You are giving cells. So you're communicating all this DNA of your ancestors. So the ancestors are present, literally, when you're breastfeeding. So it's two ways. One is the vibration of the heart, and the other one is the milk itself. And when you are in that environment, if you disconnect your brain from the judging and the I have to pick up the clothes from the laundry, I have to, if you disconnect from that and you just decide to be in the moment, just be, without thinking all these things that I am telling you, just being with your child, you get great inspiration for things. This is the way Parenting the Gods was born, and I am delighted that of everything that is happening, because I opened that website. I'm meeting all these wonderful people. Other mothers are getting the information that of the experts that are speaking there. So there is benefits in their life of these women and of their children. The other thing is that while the milk is coming out of you, you have this sense of being connected to the universe because you're providing for your child. You are Mother Earth producing abundance. You are really like in the Bible says the milk and honey for the people. You are the milk and honey for your child, and you feel that sense of abundance. And it's abundance in all senses. It's abundance of money, abundance of possibilities, abundance of time, abundance of love, abundance of everything. So it's it is abundance. Is your ancestors. It is your even your authenticity of being you. So it's a sacred moment. I really will encourage every single woman who is able to breastfeed as long as possible, and when you breastfeed, to do it with the biggest present that you can, with the intention of love and openness to receive guidance, because I believe that this life is meant for two things: for love and for service. And service is these two ways is the only ways to grow. So if you don't grow, you die. And breastfeeding allows you the capability to grow, and by being present in this experience, you will get inspiration of projects that will allow you to love and projects that will allow you to serve. So that's that's my take on it.
Breastfeeding as a beautiful way to be grounded as well, to be spiritual and grounded at the same time. So I like what you say, to be present in the moment, to enjoy totally the breastfeeding with your baby. Blanca, I want to thank you so much for your sharing. I know as well that you prepare something special for our audience, your gift. Would you like to tell us what it is and how we can all enjoy it?
On the 23rd of October, at 9 o'clock in the evening, European time, Central European time, we are going to have a live meditation. And this live meditation will help you to center in the subject of abundance, ancestors, and alignment. All connected to the antechamber of the heart, the breast. So this is for women who are breastfeeding right now, and it's working. They are really happy. It is for women who are breastfeeding right now, and it is not working, and you're getting really desperate. This is for women who breastfed. This is for women who breastfed and feel guilty about that subject, that it didn't go according to plan. Because the subject here will be to connect with our feminine breasts, and through that with the universe, with love. So it's something beyond breastfeeding and really into the energy of what it means to be a woman and to be a mother. A mother, physical, a human representation of Mother Earth. This grounding, this fertility, this abundance giving to the world. Connecting with all our grandmothers and aligning ourselves to what we're going to do in the future. So I will have a recording, guys, but nothing substitutes being live there. So please make sure that you are live so that you can enhance the energy of this meditation. Because you see, while we will meditate, and it will be really good for the people who are present, this will have a ripple effect in the peace of the entire planet and the awakening of the entire planet. So I really invite you to join us to this breastfeeding meditation.
I save some time to be present live, as you said, as the magic that happens in the very moment we are meditating. It's really special. So we are coming to an end of this beautiful and so important interview to me. And I thank you once more, Blanca, for sharing your stories, your experiences, and for your message of love to women. If there is any other message or any other quote that you'd love to add, you're welcome to do it.
Just be love. You don't need to be or do or have anything else. Just be love.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for watching the PowerTv show, the series that offers you little clues for huge transformations. I invite you to find your own way in breastfeeding, or for your pregnancy, or for your childbirth, for your life. So I'm sending you my bright, bright blessing, and please leave your comments below this video. Let's make it an interactive experience. Share your thoughts and feelings with other mother women. Big hug to all of you, and bye-bye. See you to the next episode. Thank you.